Hi, I'm Nick Rounds from Leica Camera Australia. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about some of the unique features of the Peak Designs travel tripod. This is the Leica variation with the red dot, and it's one of only 300 units available globally. Before I show you what's in the box, I'd just like to make a couple of points about tripods in general. This example here, this is Stradbroke Island off the coast of Brisbane, and in this particular image I have used a very long exposure so you get that beautiful smooth water. It's around about 30 seconds, something like that. A picture like this is impossible without a tripod because you have to hold the camera steady for a long period of time, and that is just not possible to do using your bare hands. Key thing is it has to be a good tripod. If you've got good lenses and good cameras, you need a good tripod, and cheap tripods just aren't going to cut it. So it's very important that you have a well-designed, well-made, suitably rigid tripod, and this Peak Designs tripod fits the bill beautifully. So why don't we have a look at what's inside the box. Beautifully made packaging. The top here just opens up and then folds over like that, which is very clever. And inside we have the tripod itself in a nice little case. Let's put that aside. Very small, as you can see here, and when I take it out I'm going to compare it to my normal travel tripod, and you'll just see how compact this tripod is. It also has no protruding parts, so as you slide it out of the case there's nothing to catch, which is really nice. So there it is. Now you may say, well, what's the special deal about it? Well, let me just bring up my other tripod, which is the one I use most of the time, and you'll see that this is what I consider a modest tripod, and it's about twice as big, and there's an awful lot of waste space inside here, lots of volume of air, which means it's bulkier than it needs to be. If you look at this design, you'll see that there's virtually no waste space inside the tripod, and there's this tiny little gap that you can see between the leg and the center column, and that's pretty much the only waste space in there. This tripod weighs 1.29 kilograms. This is the carbon fiber version, and it's 38 centimeters long, and it's 8 centimeters wide. It's roughly the same size in terms of diameter as a water bottle. So you can put this in your backpack or even in a water bottle holder on your backpack, and it will slot in beautifully. First thing I want to point out is that the feel of it is beautiful, and another very important part of the design is these very low profile clasp. Let me just close it up so I can bring it under my other camera here. This is beautifully smooth, and you can simply pop all four of them open in one movement, extend the legs out, and then obviously when you close it up you can just close it up with your heel of your hand like that. The legs open up wider as per most tripods, so you click the little catch at the top and you can extend those legs out. And in fact, the whole center column does come out, and you can pop off you can separate out the center column and put the top bit back in again so that you can get the tripod down as low as possible. That's really quite effective. Okay, now this tripod head itself is a little unusual. Let me just bring that under the camera here so you can see it, because the way it sits in the actual design of the tripod is that it sits very flush with the legs, and as it stands now you can't tilt it. You have to just pull it up slightly, and you can see that there's these engaging pins shapes here which form the clasp around the ball, which is there. So now it's extremely smooth, I have to say. And then there's a locking collar, which is this silver line, the silver wheel here. And once it's locked, it's extremely rigid. And I have tried this, and it locks beautifully solidly. There's no play in it whatsoever, which is what you'd expect. But every time you use it, you do have to pop it up. And if you've moved it out of the way, or you've tilted it, you have to then re-engage these flanges, if you like, here with the rest of the tripod to close it. The top plate is an Arca Swiss standard, and there is a little catch top here which you can pop down. Just got to unlock it. That pops out. There is the Arca Swiss sized plate, which then engages into the little sprung mechanism here. So if you've already got an Arca Swiss size plate on your camera or some sort of L bracket, it will absolutely work. You will have to take out these little lugs, but there is a tool attached to the leg which allows you to do that. This catch here is lockable, so it's spring loaded, and as I put the plate into the actual head there, you then lock with a little collar like that, and that is extremely rigid. There is no play in it whatsoever. So overall, I would say this was a really good compromise between weight, height, compactness and rigidity. No tripod is perfectly rigid. And the other thing that's very important is vibration damping, because there's a danger spot with long exposures of around 1 second. And that's when the vibration of the shutter can transmit through the tripod and then back up again and cause a very slight blurring on exposures around about 1 second. And this has vibration damping feet on it, the rubber, and also the carbon fiber is very good for vibration damping too. So you shouldn't have any problems with that. It's just something worth bearing in mind. If you've got the legs fully extended and it's blowing a gale, doesn't matter how heavy your tripod is, it's going to be a problem. So in which case I would actually not extend the legs at all, and I would sit on the ground and I would use the tripod in this position as I got it on my desk here. And that, if I try and flex, in fact I'm trying quite hard to flex that, and it's not flexing. It feels extremely rigid, which is of course what you want. So overall, I think this is an excellent design. And given that you've got possibly really good lenses and really good camera, you absolutely need a really good tripod.